You are listening to a Dynamicworksproductions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast. I'm your host, as always, author, podcaster, and gamer, Tim K. Trotter. Joining me from not necessarily the other side of the world, but just a little bit down, several thousand miles. Is it several thousand? It's probably a couple thousand miles.
Yeah, it's a couple thousand miles, yeah.
A couple thousand down. Is the one, the only, the groggiest of Nates, Nate Fu.
Hello. Yeah, just a quick trip down the 5.
Yeah, quick. Quick, he says. It's not quick if you have to pass through Portland, my friend.
Well, that is true. I think last time I drove from SeaTac to here, not necessarily obeying traffic laws, I made it in about 14 hours.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's good mileage.
Yeah. Yeah, we were moving pretty good.
Fair enough.
In an old 1978 Granada. Yeah.
Okay, then.
Good times.
I'm actually going to Google that. Granada. I feel like I know what it is.
Oh, yeah. You'll know it when you see it, especially the 70s model.
1978.
Ford Granada.
Oh my God!
Uh-huh.
Is that the fucking? Is that the car in Evil Dead?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think so.
It might be.
Dead.
And now we're going down a rabbit hole.
No, it's an Oldsmobile Delta 88.
Okay. Oh yeah. There's some similarities. Yes.
Definitely some similar. Oldsmobile Delta 88. I do believe my favorite comedian, Christopher Trice, had a joke in there about Delta 88 had the optional helicopter roof pad.
Lots of room for bodies in the trunk.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's spin the ring and see where it takes us this evening.
Yay.
We have landed on topics entertainment.
Oh, yay. What have you been watching, Tim?
What have I been watching?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been watching a lot of Gilmore Girls with the wife. I think I said that last time.
Mm-hmm.
She is very, very, very into it. Where that's almost all she wants. I completed my rewatch of the entirety of Rick and Morty. And then this morning, we've been watching season 2 of Invincible, which very maddeningly, frustratingly has concluded for the year after 4 episodes.
Okay.
And we won't see again until 2024. We've only been waiting 2 years for this fucking second season.
Sure.
And so they're going to delay it some more because why the fuck not, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that's rude. And I'm like, well, I would rather you have given me the entirety of the season than not given me like the way they had like a Comic-Con special that was like an hour and it was fun. Then we had these 4 episodes and then that's it. And we're just going to say goodbye for like 2 months. Like it's a fucking animated show. Like there's not. It's very frustrating.
Right. You're not paying for location costs or anything like that.
Exactly. We finished the limited series Lessons in Chemistry. It was good.
Okay.
Jessica obviously loved it more than I did since she knew the book.
That's the one with Brie Larson as a cooking show host?
Brie Larson, and I would have never guessed he was this good of an actor. The guy who played Bob in Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, yes.
He's got like a lot of star power. I'm very impressed and now sad in retrospect to Top Gun Maverick about him having a small, he's the quiet guy with glasses kind of role, because he's an interesting feller.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it was all right, I should say. And then this morning, due to news I'm going to get into shortly, I felt a desire to watch Kung Fu Panda TV series that I had started but never finished. Kung Fu Panda Dragon Knight on Netflix. Not entirely sure why I stopped watching it, because I am a big Kung Fu Panda fan, and I've seen the other lesser TV series, and this one is not lesser because it's animated by DreamWorks. It's got Jack Black in it. It's better across the board. So I watched like half the season this morning for my breakfast. Yeah, so I've been doing those things and haven't had a chance to dive into really anything new. I know there's For All Mankind. Season 4 is out. It's supposed to be phenomenal this year. Haven't dove into season 3 of The Morning Show. Haven't dove into... I think of what else I was watching that I have access to. Probably a bunch of stuff. And then, and I don't think I talked about this last podcast. Me and the wife did get away and we saw The Marvels.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So I could talk about that, or I could talk about Kung Fu Panda, or I could talk about the Kung Fu Panda news, of which there is news.
No, let's talk about the new Kung Fu Panda news. I haven't, I've watched I think I want to say I watched the first 2 movies, and then kind of fell off on.
People were mixed on 3.
That's what I heard too.
I think the thing with 3 is 3 has a little bit of there was cast changes very late in the game, and then that also affected story changes as well. Because I believe the original plan with Kung Fu Panda 3, the basic premise is Po, which is in the after credits of Kung Fu Panda 2. He finds out his dad and his village of pandas is alive, and he goes out and finds them and stuff. That's basically the gist of the plot in 3. But the original plan for Kung Fu Panda 3, it had Rebel Wilson in it, and she was going to play a panda that was going to seduce Po, and they were going to fall in love and that sort of stuff. And that straight up didn't happen.
Okay.
She got replaced 6 months, I think, before the movie came out. I don't even know which actress. Okay, I guess I'll Google which actress. Kung Fu Panda 3. Yeah, Kate Hudson
That's a shift.
Her.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they shifted completely, like there is no romance in it at all. And the character was very minimal. And I think that affected whatever they had to cut at such late stage and structure. I think there's a lot to love about Kung Fu Panda 3, but that section of the plot, which is also kind of the core of the plot, is him reconnecting with the village and, you know, becoming all panda and stuff. Like it definitely, there's like, there was probably more here if this was not whatever occurred that had that actress drop out. But yeah, no. So Kung Fu Panda 4 very strangely officially announced because there was a new Poe float during this year's Macy's Thanksgiving parade.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess it was technically announced that Jack Black was returning to it in like May of this year. But somehow that slipped by my radar and a lot of other people's radars. And now there's a new Poe float and he has like a new outfit. And so people are like, what does that mean? why is he wearing a hat and pants that are not what he wears normally over 3 movies and 3 different TV series?
Right.
What's that about? And so Kung Fu Panda 4, just read the official. Oops, that's not the thing. I'm trying to get the link here. And of course I clicked on the wrong link. So Kung Fu Panda 4, which is its official title as far as I know.
Okay.
Is coming out March 8th of next year, so soon. I guess this was announced in CinemaCon 2023. In the 4th installment, Poe will leave the Valley of Peace for the city, where he has to face the Chameleon, a villain who can summon enemies from Poe's past. In addition to dealing with the Chameleon, Poe also has to look for a replacement, as he realizes that he cannot be the Dragon Warrior forever. And then an excerpt that Jack Black said, I guess, during a panel. He said, in Kung Fu Panda 4, Poe is set to become the new spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace, but before he can do that, he must find a successor to become the new Dragon Warrior. He appears to find one in Zen, a fox with plenty of promising abilities, but who doesn't quite like the idea of Poe training him. The two eventually learn to get along, but becoming a true master/student team was just the beginning. Along comes the Chameleon, a villain with, as Black describes it, the totally scary and totally unfair ability to bring back villains from past Kung Fu Panda films, such as Tai Lung, who was the movie's first villain, played masterfully by, oh my God. I can't, it's so hard for me to separate the actor from his character Al Swearinger
Ian McShane.
in Deadpool. Ian McShane, thank you. Played expertly by Ian McShane. So, yeah, desperate to find a way to defeat the Chameleon, Poe and Zen must leave the Valley of Peace and go to the big city for the first time. And it has been revealed in leaks that Zen is a fox who will be Poe's protege and is portrayed by Awkwafina. So there you go, Awkwafina and another animated thing. I'm hoping personally, though, that, you know, 2 comedic people like Jack Black and Awkwafina, hopefully they got to record their lines together and they were able to do some riffing personally. I kind of probably doubt that, because typically these types of big budget CGI animated films are recorded in a vacuum, but we'll see.
It should be interesting. Awkwafina has been, I guess, very polarizing in Hollywood. I don't know quite why. People either love her or hate her. So
the whole thing with that was that she got accused of like black appropriation.
Okay.
For like slang and stuff that she says, even though she's like an Asian American from Chicago or something like that. whatever.
No, I was. Ow, gosh, how'd that get? Oh, my kids. My backrest is like tangled up in my armrest.
It's unfortunate.
Yes. People either love her acting style or absolutely hate her. And I don't quite get why. I guess I don't know. She just rubs people the wrong way with.
I think people, I think she can be considered jarring or abrasive, especially because her voice is like raspy nasally in what some might consider an annoying way. And then of course, there's the populace who hate her because she's gay.
Well, okay.
So, whatever, I guess.
Just the whole Aquafina thing, that just in and of
it's
itself.
A dumb name.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to go by.
Right.
I guess. Shit. Actually, I wonder, what is her real name?
Nora Lum.
Well, thanks for that. I got as far as Aqua before you.
Did you even spell it the right way?
Aqua, A-Q-U.
No, A-W-K-W-A-F-I-N-A. That's, yeah.
Listen. Yeah, so it should be interesting. We do not know who is voicing the chameleon, though leaks/rumors have indicated that the villain will be female this time around, which will be a nice change of pace, considering we had Ian McShane as Tai Long, we had Gary Oldman as Lord Shen, and then we had J.K. Simmons as... Why can't I think of the villain's name? Going back into the history for fucking... He played this spirit warrior called Kai.
Gotcha.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons, fantastic. So yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see what they do for Kung Fu Panda 4. The writing team is the same two folks who wrote Kung Fu Pandas 1 through 3. So
now I noticed in the IMDb they credit Lucy Liu, and she wasn't in any of the other movies. So I wonder.
No, she's in all of them. She's the Snake. She's Viper.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then what's it? Angelina Jolie. She's Tigress.
Yes.
And Seth Rogen is Mantis, and Jackie Chan is Monkey, and Dustin Hoffman is
Sifu. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, should be interesting. And I would assume, just because the third movie did take place with his actual father, who's played by Bryan Cranston, I would assume there would be some Bryan Cranston, even if it was just for like a quick few lines at the beginning of the film or something like that.
Sure.
Or maybe for like moral support when he's demoralized and has to do the whole hero's rise thing, which happens in every single movie. So yeah, no, we'll see. Either way, I'm excited because I didn't think we were going to get another proper Kung Fu Panda film. I have loved this franchise since the first film, and it's probably for me, as far as DreamWorks animation, it's like dragons and panda. Like they're both like, I think the highest tier of DreamWorks stuff, even surpassing the old Shreks, in my opinion. So we shall see how they do, especially because I believe this will be the first Kung Fu Panda. You're giving me a strange look.
Is there a plane flying over your house?
There is in fuck indeed.
Okay.
It's about 3 houses away. It's real low. It's probably the Air Force Base. I can't do nothing about that.
No, that's fine. Again, still, I'm reacclimating to the old mic.
Yes, still on the old mic. I may have a workaround when I get some fucking time to fuck around with it, and bypass the whole fucking G Hub thing entirely. Actually, the audio recorder we use, Audio Hijack, I basically need to design a preamp plugin for it.
Gotcha.
But I don't know how to do that because I've never done that on any hijack. So, and I wasn't feeling particularly ambitious today. So I vacuumed one floor of my house as opposed to all the floors. I did dishes.
Oh, fun.
I watched Kung Fu Panda. That was my day. So that's what's going on in the entertainment world. There was a Madam Web trailer.
Yeah, I heard that snuck in there somewhere.
From Sony. So so if you're excited to see a Spider-Verse film without any actual Spider-Man in it, that has absolutely nothing to do with the Madam Web that you're familiar with, because it's not an old lady guiding the destiny of Peter Parker across the Spider-Verse. Sure.
Don't need to sound bitter about it.
Go watch the CW's, I mean Sony's Madam Web, when it comes out next year.
Is this going to be a film or a series?
No, it's a film.
Okay.
Because they're all leading up to the inevitable Sony Sinister Six film that doesn't have Spider-Man in it.
Oh, Sony.
Yeah, I think the only thing people have said that they're pleased about is that at least the costume is comic book accurate to one of the comics, I might add. And I guess I don't even know the Sydney Sweeney person who's playing Madam Web, but I guess people think she's hot, so people are excited about that, I guess. I've seen a bunch of shit on Spider-Man subreddit where they're like, yeah, she'll make a hot Madam Web, but she would have made a hotter Black Cat. Why didn't she get cast as Black Cat or whatever? I don't fucking know. But I don't know this girl. I've never seen her act in anything, so I'm just like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what she looks familiar in. Like, the only thing I would have seen was...
My understanding is she's from
Handmaid's
Euphoria.
Tale. Yeah, I haven't seen Euphoria, but yeah, I've seen Handmaid's Tale, but she was only in 7 episodes of that.
Handmaid's Tale doesn't mean anything because it's like, well, if you're a main female character, you're probably in a robe.
Right.
In that show. That doesn't really... I don't know. Maybe I've seen her in it and I didn't even know. I don't know. Was it an early season?
That I don't know.
Come on, Nate. If you're gonna Google stuff before I clickety clack, you gotta give me the facts.
I'm still going through her. Yeah, no, I don't see anything.
Oh my god, I totally spaced. The other thing I've been watching that I'm super excited to talk about because it's unequivocally like amazing somehow is Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, the Godzilla TV show on Apple TV Plus. It's so fucking good. It made me care about human characters in less than 40 minutes more than how many monster movies have we had now? We had Kong Skull Island, we had Godzilla 2014, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla vs. Kong, in 4 fucking theatrical movies. We have way more shits about the human people in this show. This is the one I talked about a bit back, that stars both Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell playing the same character in different times.
Okay.
And it doesn't have any like time, like travel bullshit. It's just here's Wyatt Russell playing a young 1940s version of the same character. And
right.
Here's Kurt Russell playing present day. And they do like that scene fade transition. It'll be on the face of Wyatt and it'll fade to his dad, and it's like, God damn, they're uncanny. Like they really are.
It's like Clinton Scott Eastwood. That's another one that.
Yes. Clint Scott for sure. You get a little hair on Scott, and it's like, oh yeah, there's his dad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I went into this show expecting to at least see monsters and Godzilla, and probably have to suffer through some dumb fucking humans doing dumb fucking human shit, just like 4 of the movies. Because it's like, that's not what I don't care about these goddamn humans. I care about Godzilla fucking up monsters. That's what I'm here for. You know, it's like the Transformers movies. I'm not there for the fucking humans.
Yeah.
I'm there for the goddamn robots, who, I've said it before, I'll say it again, have just as amazing backstories and arcs and stuff that are barely explored in any of the films, but what the fuck do I know? But yeah, no. So this show is interesting because even though I'm a fan of the MonsterVerse movies, I'm not entirely sure when it takes place. Like, obviously the past stuff is like before Skull Island and sometimes after. Like they bounce around the timeline a bit, but they have like a little they put a thing up on the screen and it like goes 1942 or whatever, and then it zips to something or whatever. But as far as like when the actual MonsterVerse movies that take place in present day, I'm not sure if it's between some of the Godzilla films, or like, I don't know if it's like between Godzilla versus Kong and then the Godzilla X Kong New Kingdoms movie that's coming out next year. I have no fucking idea. But what's interesting about it is, it's shot beautifully. Like whoever their cinematographer is, like, he's really put in work, like really cool angles, really dramatic stuff. It evokes the better cinematography that was in the 2014 reboot Godzilla film, which I think had the best cinematography out of all the MonsterVerse films so far. But like the human characters are interesting, and like by the end of the first episode, you're like, okay, so the show is called Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, not called Godzilla, even though Godzilla's 100% in it. Like, he's shown up almost every single episode so far. Even if it's for like, a few minutes, or like a foot walking by,
sure,
or whatever. But no, like by the end of the first episode, it's like, oh, Legacy of Monsters. The wink is the monsters are the humans. Interesting. But what I didn't know going into this film, and I don't know how I didn't know this, because I'm a big fan of this writer. I've probably talked about it on the show before, but I've actually met this guy at a Comic-Con. But it's executive produced by famous comic book writer Matt Fraction, who did a very famous run on Invincible Iron Man. And I think he won an Eisner Award for his comic book series Sex Criminals. So yeah, good for him breaking into TV just out of the fucking blue. But yeah, like all the characters are like really well written, and I'm just like, I can tell that he's involved in this show because the dialogue doesn't suck ass like the movies. Yeah, and so we've had 3 episodes of that, and there's kind of a lot of shows joke, like X-Files and Supernatural and stuff like that, or Smallville, about the monster of the week.
Right.
Well, the show is literally about
the monster of the week.
Monsters. So there's monsters of the week, all right. And I gotta say, I even went back to the movies after this week's episode to just kind of take a look throughout the films, and the set design and action and the CGI is like very, like, they spend a lot of money on this show. Like, it looks like it came right out of the movies. Like, it doesn't look like a budget version,
right?
Like when Godzilla shows up, or a new monster you've not seen. It's like all beautifully rendered and plays well with the environment, and they took their time and did their work with whatever set work they're doing. I took a look at where they filmed, and they filmed a bunch of places. They filmed in Japan and Vietnam, and of course Vancouver, and some Pinewood Studios, and like they really kind of went all out on this show. I'm quite impressed from a production standpoint, because like I would argue since Godzilla right now is a WB property, at least licensed in the US to be a WB property, and like if this had been on like HBO or Max or something, I almost feel like it maybe wouldn't have as high a budget, even though HBO is known for having, good looking stuff on their shows. They still
right.
Everybody knows they're cheapskates. And this, like I said, it looks like the movies. Like Godzilla shows up, it's like, yep, and that looks fucking very nice. Very nice. But yeah, the story is interesting. Like the mystery is interesting, which I didn't expect. And I'm just like overall enthralled with it. And since my wife's not into it, I'm like watching it on my own on Fridays after she goes to work. So I kick back and crank up the surround sound because I'm like, oh yeah, it's got a good mix and somebody's going to get fucking fucked in this episode. It's fucking great. It's fucking great. I'm a big fan of it. I'm just shocked to say that I'm enjoying the human parts because, yeah, like I said, I flipped back to the movies that this takes place within the same continuity of, and it's like, man, these people need, not only do these people need to be in the next movie, but these people should be the people writing the Godzilla fucking films moving forward. Because like this is like, it's like a good drama, even if it didn't have the fact. And like the other thing that's really cool about it, because it is a show, so they have time to explore stuff. Like they explore a lot of like really cool, like, oh yeah, what would the world actually look like if Godzilla fucking existed?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a really cool scene in the first episode where like people are freaking out and it's like, oh, we got to get to the Godzilla shelter. And there's like a fucking, like they've made signs at this point. Like, oh shit. Yeah, I guess you would probably make that in your town or city or whatever the fuck. And just kind of like really digging into like the aftermath of like, what would people's lives be like if just one day somebody just walked through the city and most of the city was gone? It'd be pretty terrifying and devastating.
Do you mind,
so
cat?
Yeah, it's really cool. What is your cat doing? He's eating your mic.
Yeah.
Fuck that cat. Throw it out the window. Now he's pawing the fuck out of you. He's like, pay attention to me, damn it. The cat is like
all up in my business.
Face hug Nate's face right now. But so it goes. Yeah, so that's what I've been watching. I guess I feel I got a little excited talking about the Godzilla show. That's not called Godzilla. But what have you been watching, Nate? Because there's still a movie I have to talk about, apparently.
There is a movie you need to talk about. I haven't been watching a whole lot other than my weekly sports drama, which is the National Football League.
Okay.
Which unfortunately my basic season is over because my star quarterback broke his wrist. Well,
oh no.
Tore ligaments in it and cannot grip a football.
I mean, that's probably worse. Ligaments.
Yeah. So that kind of dashed any hopes of us, actually making a strong playoff run, and also legitimately killed my fantasy football teams as well. So
I don't know much about that except it was on during Thanksgiving, and my the father of my niece and nephew was wearing the Seahawk colors and just constantly going, this fucking fuck. Fuck.
Yeah, Seattle did not look good up against San Francisco. So
yeah, I caught some of it in the third quarter, and it looked like they were trying to make it come back, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard. They were at 10, and the other team was at 20, and I don't know.
Yeah, it was a tough sledding. At least
I want my Seahawks to win because go Washington, but
At least it wasn't the
Yeah.
Cowboys game, which that was embarrassing.
And I have no idea. So, you know, there you go.
45-10.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's bad. Was that another game going on concurrently?
No, 3 games on Thanksgiving. It started off with Detroit.
It's like an all-day thing?
Yeah, Detroit and Green Bay, and then Dallas and the Jets. And then San Francisco and Seattle. So yeah, they're maximizing their Thursday night football potential on Thanksgiving. Then they had their first Black Friday game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's getting kind of stupid, ridiculous. It's been a long running tradition even before Thursday night football became a thing that Detroit and Dallas always play on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So that was kind of where the birth of Thursday night football came from. Everyone was like, well, if everyone wants to watch it on Thanksgiving, maybe they'll do it every Thursday. And it just screws things up. You know, it's, you got teams coming off short weeks, teams going on long weeks, teams going off bye weeks. And it's, now when they add the international games into it, it's just like, I can't imagine having to prepare for the travel and then the game. And then, of course, the time change, because it's like, yeah, I wake up on Sunday and I look at my fantasy football scores. I'm like, how is the score lopsided already? It's like, oh, right, this game started at 7 o'clock in the morning because it was in Germany.
Well, so it goes.
So I've been doing that. Not really catching up on a bunch of series lately, just because everyone is still kind of recovering from the writer's hiatus.
Heard Deadpool 3 started filming again this week.
Good, yeah. I hope that comes out sooner. I know a lot of things have been delayed. A lot of them, it
already got delayed.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I think
hopefully it doesn't get delayed anymore.
Or Christmas of next year or something.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any cancellations. But
I've heard of everything getting delayed, especially on the Marvel side.
Well, I mean, series in general, like all the stuff I used to watch on ABC, like, my whole Rookie thing still hasn't come back.
Yeah, but I feel like, and I've not actually seen an episode of The Rookie, but I know that it's an LA-based show.
Yes.
That actually, fictionally takes place in LA.
Yes.
So, like, the production capacity to get things rolling somewhat quickly again are probably way more convenient for that show than, say, wherever the fuck Deadpool 3 is filming. I think they're filming in the UK or something for Deadpool 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I don't know, because, I mean, a lot of stuff films up in Vancouver, and everyone knows Ryan Reynolds is, Canada's favorite export. So.
Well, and that, and
Justin Bieber.
His Wrexham thing. Wrexham thing, so he's over there a good amount of time as well. So, yeah, well, that sucks that you're not watching more. I guess you'll be able to do some stuff on the weekends now that you've been punted into nights.
You would hope so.
I mean, I would hope so. I would hope you would get some chance to chillax and do whatever it is you'd like to do.
I'll probably have more chance to watch stuff while I'm monitoring Pretty Blinking Lights. We'll get into it in the life stories.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And then, like I said at the top, me and my wife did go and watch The Marvels, which is the latest Marvel movie. And, yep.
It's a movie, I hear.
Okay, so here's the good parts about the movie.
You'd be the first person I hear say anything good about it.
I think there are totally good things about it, but it's a butchered film. There's just no two buts about it. The good parts about the film. I thought the fight scenes were excellent. Kamala Khan is awesome. And the actress who portrays her, Balani, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. She steals the scene in all the scenes, which is quite a thing because she's like, I think, not even 20 yet. The movie is funny. It has a lot of good gags in it. The after credits is particularly dope, even by Marvel standards. Even though it was totally 100% spoiled for me before I even saw the fucking film. Thank you very much, Reddit. I talked about this already last episode. And those are the things that I liked about it.
Okay.
So here's my problem with the film. Here's the main big fundamental problem with the film. And I cannot tell either it has a terrible editor or the movie is a victim of the strikes and they were not able to do reshoots or shoot connective tissue or maybe rewrite some stuff. Like, I don't know if it was Lord Disney was like, nope, it's got to come out November, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But we haven't done our rewrites or reshoots yet that we always do, usually a few months before the film comes out. They're like, yeah, well, everybody's on strike, so that's not going to happen. Launch the film.
Yeah.
But I have nothing to confirm or deny that. That's just pure speculation and conjecture. And the reason I say that it is a cut up mess is because after me and my wife got out of it, and I was like, oh, what'd you think and stuff, and she was just like, I didn't understand why the villain was doing all of those things. And then I was like, oh, well, this, and she's like, I hear you, but did that stuff happen in the movie, or are you just filling that in because you've read the comics?
Right.
And I paused and I went, I don't know. So, yeah. So I don't know how that's going to do for people. So that's a thing that's certainly bad. I hate, which is a really strong word. I hate the original soundtrack for this film.
Really?
Yeah. Because the whole time I'm watching the film and I'm like the orchestrations are good, everything is nice, and I'm just like, why does the soundtrack sound so god fucking damn familiar to me? And I figured it out earlier in this week because I was listening to the soundtrack and I was trying to find the soundtrack that I knew I had to compare it to. And once I compared it to it, not only are the similarities similar, they're downright, somebody should fucking sue for copyright infringement. Like, they're the same fucking notes. So the main theme for this film is the same fucking theme in the music for the TV show Chuck by Tim Jones.
Okay.
And the Marvels was done by some gal named Laura Kaplan, who my understanding is supposed to be like an Emmy winner, orchestration gal, older gal. She's been doing it a while. And I'm just like everything about the production of the score is wonderful. Like, it sounds beautifully produced. The orchestrations are good, but I'm listening to the main fucking theme, and the main fucking theme is the main fucking theme from Chuck. Like, it's identical apart from the instrumentation. And I'm just like, nah, this bitch has got to go down. And that's a Warner Brothers property, and they need money, so they should get on that suing train like ASAP.
They'll just write it off and take it as a loss.
Yeah, probably. So that was a whole thing that took me weeks to figure out why the score bugged me so much. The other thing is the character that was introduced in WandaVision,
Monica Rambeau.
The Monica Rambeau character. Holy fuck, does she get shafted in this film in screen time, plot, all kinds of things. And I'm just like, man, like, that sucks. And I even was trying to look at the film at a certain point of like, okay, if I hadn't watched the Miss Marvel TV show and WandaVision, which has Monica Rambeau in it, how does this film introduce me to these characters? Kamala Khan gets, or Miss Marvel, she gets a great introduction, and it's like, okay, fine. Easy. Easy to understand. She gets tons of fucking screen time. Monica Rambeau, yeah. They like explain that she has powers in like a sentence and like moving on. It's like, all right, why are we even caring about this character? And then thirdly, the real reason why the film breaks down beyond editing. So the central crux of the film is, for reasons, whenever Monica Rambeau, Miss Marvel, and Captain Marvel use their powers simultaneously, wherever they are in the universe, they all swap places with each other physically in the universe.
But only if they use their powers at the exact same time.
Correct.
Okay.
But the reason that is supplied, and this, it's so bad, comic book logic can't even fix it. Because comic book logic is against it, for starters. So the logic that's given in the film is they're quantum entangled with each other.
Because of course they are.
And it's like, but why? And then the other reason is like, well, they all have light-based powers. To which Marvel-loving comic book nerd myself is like, nuh-uh, bitch. Captain Marvel's powers come from the fucking Tesseract, which is the fucking cosmic cube, which is a fucking Infinity Stone.
Right.
She's Infinity fucking Stone based. Ain't fucking light based powers about that shit. I'm sorry, fucking Monica Rambeau's powers comes from a fucking witch. And Kamala Khan is a fucking mutant.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here with, they have all light-based powers. I was like, they have colored special effects, but that doesn't mean what? Get the fuck out of here. And go fuck yourself.
Yes.
So if you could look by all that shit and a terrible edit, there are things to like about it. I would just be forewarned of all of that if you ever see it, probably on Disney Plus, because it's just like, man, what in the fuck? What in the fuck? Like, to give you an idea of like the level of complicated hoopla and bullshittery, it reminds me of a DC movie.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that's what I'll say about that. Yep. There you go. Enough said. So, anyways, that was the Marvels.
So I won't be seeing that one.
You'll need to see it on Disney Plus.
Sure. If I'm bored one day and the wife isn't home.
Watch the last 10 minutes of the film.
Fine.
Oh, and then the other thing. All the stuff that happened in Secret Invasion, I guess that didn't fucking happen.
Oh, good, because I didn't watch it, so then I can ignore it now.
It's bad anyway.
That's what I hear.
think, what did I say about Secret Invasion? I think the first episode or two are really cool, and then it's like, what is happening? All the way to the end. So anyway, that's the Marvels.
Not
the
instilling
lowest grossing Marvel movie ever made.
The grossest Marvel movie ever. Gotcha.
Lowest grossing.
Yes, that's what I said.
You said the grossest Marvel movie. That's what you said. Anyways, that was entertainment. Let's spin, because that was a long entertainment segment. Fire life stories.
Yay.
Ooloo. What you got for us, Nate?
I got punted into nights for the next 6 months. It's official. I am now a night owl. I am no longer a creature of the light.
But were you ever to begin with? Maybe that's a metaphorical question.
Yes. That's a philosophical question.
Metaphilosophical.
Yes, metaphysical. Metaphilosophical.
Yeah, one of those. Yep.
So yeah, yep. as we were alluding to earlier, the project I'm working on is basically an endurance run. So it's kind of a set and forget and adjust as needed. So hence me, I'll be spending most of my time staring at a screen, making sure everything stays within limits.
This is what you meant by blinking lights.
Yes, because they'll be green if they're within limits. They'll flash red if they're not.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I will be doing a lot of that. And last time I was doing that, I basically brought my phone out on a prop, sat it up there, and I turned on a show. And then, kind of out of the corner of my eye, they did happen to, when they designed the interface, by request, said, make those lights big so that they can be seen from across the office that I'm sitting in. So it's real easy to catch them if they're not functioning per normal. So, hey, what the? Check my... Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah. No, everything here is fine.
Okay. I figured I would just ask that, privately keep rolling.
Yes.
But fuck it.
You can't privately keep rolling. Listeners. Is your shit working?
Yeah. I had a full couple seconds of stop lag, complete audio, complete picture. Everything was dead.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, you can privately say
it was only from you though.
Yeah, you can privately message. Is that a giant spider in the back of your room? Right. You can privately say that. And now I've got you looking. Are you
saying that now?
No.
You have to tell me if that's a thing.
But yeah, to privately message me and say, is your shit broke? There's differences. There's nuance to that. So what did you not hear?
I think it's fine. It didn't interrupt your speech too much, but I think it's fine.
Okay.
So let's just keep going.
Gotcha.
And if it's noticeable in the edit, this is why, folks.
This is why we have locals.
Yeah, that's why I asked, is your local still running? Because that's going to be a dip.
Oh, it's okay. That's what you meant by is your shit running. Yes, my shit is always running.
And I didn't even say that. I said, check your stuff.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Yeah, no, I actually have been having weird internet dropouts the past couple of days, so I don't know what that means.
Mm.
Yeah, mid kids watching shows, the entire whole house internet went, nope.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so I got punted into nights, and that starts Monday. And we'll continue through late April, early May.
Okay.
Possibly longer. Yeah, and the only other thing is if one of the two runs that we're doing, another one involves a contamination test, so I have to monitor a tank, and as the tank gets lower, mix up a slurry to feed the hopper for the contamination test. So that'll be that one will be a little more hands-on, but yeah, it'll be good times.
Fair enough.
You'll be getting random messages from me at 1:00 in the morning.
Okay. That's fine.
As I watch shows like The Marvels or what is it, Secret Invasion, and go, the f is this shit?
I mean, at least when you watch Secret Invasion, it's at least. I'll say this about Secret Invasion: the plot of Secret Invasion makes more sense than why the Marvels occurs.
Fair.
Yeah. Let's see, I don't really have much life stuff. I know, bummer for all the people. Still a lot of stuff going on in my life.
Well, what did you do for Thanksgiving? Since this is our post-Thanksgiving show.
Went over to my in-laws, and it was a lovely, pain-free experience. I didn't expect, but wife made me stuffing, got me gluten-free rolls, and a gluten-free apple pie.
Aw.
And Thanksgiving was lovely and painless. It was super short because Jessica had to work at 9 p.m. And she got up at 3, so it was like a 5 to 8 kind of engagement. And took home a bunch of leftovers, of which I made a tragically comical failure as a human being error that I noticed last night.
Oh.
Yeah. So I scooped out, potatoes that were Yukon Gold and potato riced, and I scooped out my gluten-free stuffing and homemade cranberries, and was warming a roll, and was trying to find the turkey to add to my dish for my Thanksgiving leftover dinner last night, and then couldn't find it, and then proceeded to tear apart the fridge and go, oh fuck, did I accidentally throw it in the trash? Tore apart the trash, nothing. Finally text the in-laws, did I leave
an entire container,
a Ziploc of turkey? Sure, guys. And then my mother-in-law was like, I was wondering who left that. And I was like, fuck. So I heated up enchiladas last night. Put my fucking leftover stuff because I was like, what the fuck? And I was talking to Jessica about it. I was like, well, what do we do? We have like cases and boxes and containers of fucking leftovers, but we don't have any primary meat.
You can go get with it. Some, or
Yeah, well, the plan is
I'm sure everyone has their share of
get some ham steak.
Yeah. Well,
you ham it up.
You had more of a Thanksgiving dinner than I did, because I woke up Thursday morning running a little bit of a fever.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, are you through it now?
I'm for the most part. Like what was weird was, like, I woke up and I'm like, why is it so cold in the house? And I'm like, look over at because I have a clock / weather station thing, and it's like, nope, it's 73 degrees in the bedroom. And I'm like, oh no, grab the thermometer, and it's the contact one, and I'm like, boom, 99.8. I'm like, oh,
contact one. You're not using a mouth one at home?
No. Too many mouths around here. So we use yeah. So I was like, and I always
they have this thing called isopropyl alcohol. I hear it's great.
Yes, it tastes real good too.
Only when you're night swimming.
Yes. So anyways,
people in the audience who got the Simpson reference, you're a good person. Join the Discord.
So because we have children and trying to stick anything in a child's mouth and hold it there long enough, we have temporal thermometers. So I always do it 3 times just to make sure, and I'll take an average. So I go, boop, 99.8. Oh crap. Okay. Boom, 99.6. Okay. Boom, 97.1. Boom, 98.1. Boom, 98.3. Boom, 98.6. I'm like, did I just literally...
That sounds like a lot of work.
I'm like, did I literally wake up and break a fever? Because I felt fine after that. Like, I didn't feel warm at all. Had like a little, like, swelling in my throat. But yeah, so I ended up, I'm like, I'm not doing anything today. If I'm sick, I need to be at work tomorrow, which was Friday. Because of this being punted in a night shift, there's a lot of leftover stuff that needed to be taken care of before I get punted. So I actually worked all of Friday, and then I actually worked to this morning. Hence me, falling asleep in my chair before the show. Because, woke up at 3:30 this morning, and I was just like, hey, I'll make it through. I did not. So, for Thanksgiving, I had shrimp Alfredo with what was supposed to be roasted Brussels sprouts made by my wife that turned into Brussels briquettes.
Okay.
Because she forgot to take them out of the oven, and they became little balls of ash and dust.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have not enjoyed the taste of turkey and or stuffing and or anything with gravy on it this season.
Well, I didn't get gravy because gravy is for people who can have wheat.
Yes.
So for like
wheat
ever, or at least as long as I've been with my wife's family for Thanksgiving, because they'll do homemade cranberry sauce, or cranberries or whatever. And I would just liberally take that and use that as my gravy. So I'd get that on the turkey and the potatoes.
That works, actually. I mean,
it does.
Yeah.
It works awesomely because it's like all the flavors are there anyway. But I actually did less of that with the actual turkey I had. Turkey was really good this year. Had a whole turkey leg, and I fucking destroyed it.
You went at it medieval time style?
I did. I do like myself a good turkey leg. I must say, generally, apart from sometimes run fairs get it right, having a good turkey leg, hard to find, to be honest.
Like, you're married away. You don't have to impress anyone anymore. Just, go primal on that motherfucker.
Yeah, no, it's really casual. It's all good. I do have 2 important questions though of the life variety that pertain to this immediate things of you. Number 1.
Say that again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna rewind this part about 8 times to try to figure out what you said.
That was my Tim Jeff Goldblum impression.
Yes.
What is your cough drop of choice?
Oh, the Ricola Honey Lemon.
Good man. You're good. That is the correct answer.
Yes, and followed very close.
Is the way to know.
Very close. If I don't have Ricolas, is the Luden's Honey Drops.
I don't think I've ever had a Luden one.
Specifically the Luden's ones. Because, I've
known to do hauls if there's absolutely fucking nothing around.
Yeah.
But that's only in a rare blue moon when Costco and every fucking drugstore around me, for some reason, doesn't have Ricola.
Yeah.
Which does happen.
Yes.
Strangely.
Especially, when the weather shifts. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's why you get in bulk at Costco.
Yes. But yeah, I'll either do those or the Ludens. The Ludens were the ones I grew up on, and when I found the Ricolas, I was like, "Ooh, Ludens, only better."
Yeah, I'll do that, and I'll also do like a Sambucol.
Okay,
Big fan of that. especially if your throat is fucked.
Mm-hmm.
That's always really helped. And then if you can't find the, like, take a spoonful of it, they have some gummies now that work pretty well. Yeah. And then the second question.
Mm-hmm.
You have a white outline glow around you, and I can only assume that's because your chroma key is black, or it's green and you're making it black.
My chroma key is... There you go.
Okay, there we go. That's much more normal. Because the whole time I'm like, man,
why is he twinkling in space? Yeah,
he looks so like he's got a video game bloom effect from the fucking mid 2000s on him.
It's my CRT filter.
Yeah. What's your shirt say? Oh, where the wild things are.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm taking off my sweater in my sweatshirt in here because California is now, getting, and I use finger quotes here because if we have anyone that's not in California, they're going to laugh at me when I say it's getting down into the 60s.
Yeah, it's 31 here right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's gonna get down to 28 tonight.
We're going to just in time for a night shift. We're going to start getting into the low 40s.
Wow.
Yes,
it's pretty low for your parts. You got your down jacket and your toque ready to go.
My toque, my down jacket, my thermal underwear, my hand warmers. No, I weather better than that. The problem is my Nest thermostat hasn't figured out California's weather yet. So,
isn't it supposed to be like smart or something?
It's supposed to be very smart when the weather's consistent. When it starts shifting wildly between highs of 80s to highs of 60s, and then it goes, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, so I walked in the house today and the thermostat had set the heat down to 62.
Yeah, the only other home thing that I could talk about is, so I was playing PlayStation this morning, and I was running the Apple Music app on it, and it kept stopping and telling me on the PlayStation Apple Music app, Apple Music is playing on another device. And I'm like, you're going to have to be more specific in this fucking household, mister.
Apple Music is playing somewhere else.
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay. And I check my app and wife's asleep and HomePod's playing sleep music and stuff. And I'm like, okay. And then around 1:30, and my wife usually wakes up at 3 on work days, 1:30, my wife comes into the room, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing up? And she's like, why is the HomePod at 100% volume? And I'm like, I got nothing other than I was using the app, and it kept stopping, and so I kept restarting it and continuing to play like a couple of tracks, and then I'd be like, fuck off. And then I'd restart it again, and it would keep going. And so there's no rhyme or fucking reason why that should have altered the volume. Hypothetically,
it should not have.
That's the only thing that was occurring. Why that altered the volume of the HomePod.
There's something to be said for and against all of the integrations. While it's super, super, super convenient, it seems
when they work.
Yes, when they work. And it seems that once you do them once, it forever ties you to those devices. So, like, I'll be listening to Spotify at work, when I actually consume all of my podcasts for the month. And the song will stop. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I open up the app. And it says, now playing something from, like, My Singing Monsters on my device at home. And I'm like, yes, that's at home. I'm at work. I'm not connected via Wi-Fi. I'm not connected via Bluetooth, but for whatever reason, because I broadcast my Spotify to my, I'm not going to say her name.
I'll say it for everybody listening on speakers at home. Alexa, Google Home Assistant, and Siri.
Yes. And Chrome.
Oh, and God help you if you're on Bixby, I guess.
If you're on Bixby, you deserve it. Like, if it's actually listening, Bixby.
Right? Yeah.
Because, I've never gotten that shit to work. But, because I broadcast to it once, now my account is tied to all 3 devices in my house. And it just,
Yeah, well.
I'll like, when I escape from my kids and I sleep in their room.
I feel like, as unfortunate as it is,
I'll try to listen to like white noise, and then they'll try to listen to something else on the one in the other room, and it's like, nope, we can't separate these two. And it's like,
I feel like it doesn't seem to matter which ecosystem you're in. Everybody's auto updates suck, and everybody's home integrations suck sometimes.
This is something I've noticed, and I'm glad you brought this up because it's been bugging me for, I want to say, a little over a year, and I don't know what it is. Was it a terms of service or a lawsuit or something? But I want to say a little over a year ago, auto updates on everything just don't happen anymore. It's like, auto update my games. I sit down and no, I have to update 7 games every time I turn my computer on. I have everything on my phone set to auto update, and I'll randomly go into the Google store and it's like, you have 17 updates available. And it's like, why aren't these updating? I don't have update over Wi-Fi checked. And even if I did, I'm home on my Wi-Fi enough that should have happened anyways. My Apple device, the software updates don't auto update anymore.
I'm not going to fucking argue with you because they suck on everything.
Yeah.
I can run down my lists. Mac OS update. Like I'll get the press release and be like, Mac OS update available. Update your devices. I'll go to the thing. I'll see it in the store, and then I'll go to the update tab to search for the thing and be like, update not available yet. And I'm like, but it's there.
Right.
I know it's there. It's there. It's there. Find it.
Did you not do the 2 updates prior to it that was the prerequisite to get you to this point?
That's not how Apple's work. And you know it. Get your Windows fucking
no, Windows doesn't even do that shit anymore. Which I would kind of wish they went back to that, because I don't like, the incremental update that I have to download the whole goddamn thing. And I will say Windows Update is the one device I have that actually does the updates and then lets me know right when I'm about to go on a podcast that I need to restart my computer.
Yeah, like I said, nothing's perfect.
Yep.
Nintendo Switch, it'll update their Nintendo apps really consistently, but fuck everything else, I guess. PlayStation 5, and I have a lot of apps on there because I have external storage and a secondary internal SSD, will only auto update if it's in like my top 10 games, like in the front page queue. Like those will update, but fuck you if you want to go to one in your library. I clicked on one the other day and it was like, there's an update. And I was like,
guess I'm not playing this.
When? From when?
Yeah.
Just do it. Fucking do it.
Do it.
You're a stationary device.
Tell me.
Hard connected to my router. Fucking do it.
Yeah, and even
how hard is that?
If you don't, just because you want to save the space, at least give me a notification that says, hey, there's updates pending for games that you haven't played in a while. Is it really that hard?
Well, and then the other thing, the one that I think is maybe the best out of them, but it's still flawed in some ways, is actually my Xbox. And back when I had Game Pass, and what do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had a total of 9 terabytes
Mm-hmm.
across all storage things connected to that thing, right? And it would be very good about getting the auto updates. However, the actual execution of retrieving the update and then checking the other ones while it's at it because you've decided to do it takes like fucking 20 fucking minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never understood why. Especially because unlike other things, like I would assume, since my understanding is the core layer of that is a Windows 10 or a Windows 11 based thing, is it's just a .exe like everything else.
Sure.
I don't know. Like it's not doing anything crazy, you know. But yeah, I don't know.
I think my Xbox is updated. I haven't turned it on forever, but I will be sitting in here every now and then. I'll hear, dink. No lights on it. It'll make the noise.
Do you have a VCR though?
Yes.
Because certain reflections of light and infrared will turn that fucker on.
Well, no. It makes the noise. The flashing Xbox logo never lights up. I'll hear the fan spin up, and then it'll just turn off. So I think it just checks in with the mothership every now and then.
Fair enough.
So
fair enough. But yeah, no, it'd be Is there any other life things? I don't think so. It's cold out, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean it's legit. It's legit cold for you. It's California cold for me.
Yeah, we're getting those mornings where it's like frosty and like a little bit of ice on the ground and like the windshields and stuff, and like lots of fog.
And I have to turn on my heater now.
Yeah.
It's a low, like halfway between cold and hot, because I actually have to, possibly wear a thin sweater.
I would have to be really, really fucking cold to wear a sweater, let me tell you.
Yeah, and the only reason I was wearing it in here was like, again, it was like 61, and I'm like, that's got a little bite to it. Let me put on a hoodie, turn the heater on, and then once it warmed up in here, I was like, ooh, it's toasty now. And by warm, it's 70. Spin it.
All right.
You were giving me the finger.
Deal. No,
video games and tech.
We landed on Earth, so I'm pretty sure that's tech.
That is tech.
All right, tech. So,
does the ground feel cold to you, Tim?
Well, it's okay because they're implementing their own version that they're forcing the whole everybody else to adopt.
In the most Apple fashion ever. And for those of you that don't understand where we're going with this, we'll get there. It's been a long running joke for us Androids and, well, basically non-fruit based phones to tell Apple to jump on the RCS bandwagon. You've heard me rail against it before, time and time again. And Apple finally said, okay, you won the lawsuit. We'll do it.
Is there a lawsuit?
Yes.
Oh, I was totally unaware of that.
Well,
didn't come up in any of my tech stuff.
Yeah,
I watched Gary Explains. I watched Marcus Brownlee on it. Watched everybody on it. Nobody talked about that.
With everything that, Apple has been doing lately, like, switching to USB out of the kindness of their hearts, it's usually a UK-based lawsuit.
I would say out of the kindness of their UK hearts.
Right. Okay, so after that little mishap, depending on how you edit this, I left a little tail end on mine, and I actually stopped my recorder on my end, so I can send them to you in 2 tracks, or I can put them together and let you figure it out.
Let's do that in 2 tracks.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure your recording is fine, and mine is not.
Yes.
I'll probably do a lap over.
Okay. So if you notice a sudden quality drop at the very end,
you'll notice some noise, folks.
Yes.
But hey, don't you want to know what occurred since we're talking about tech?
Yes.
So I had a Skype update before the show. Everything's fine on Skype. But I also had an audio hijack update. And I think, as I mentioned before we did our show with all the comic book guys, they had added a transcriber to text plugin in audio hijack, which I attempted to use last time. But it ran for 24 hours and didn't do anything. So I was like, okay, it's busted. The update for today said we massively fixed all the problems with the text transcriber thing. And yet, the thing that I saw before everything went to shit and I had to hard boot my computer was that audio hijack was taking up 48 gigabytes of RAM. This is interesting, as I have a base Generation 1 M1 Mac Mini that only has 8 gigs of RAM.
Right.
So I can only assume it is the text block, because as soon as I shut everything off, it was still running and it wouldn't let me turn it off. And then I deleted the block. That's how it shows it to me. It's like a plugin, like visual blocks with like cords that I can drag around and stuff. And as soon as I deleted that, my memory went back to something livable.
Fun. Okay.
So what I'm guessing occurred is them fixing their translation thing, because last time it was offline translation, and I'm betting it was probably got switched to real time. And the longer we went, the more it had to transcribe while also keeping up with recording the audio and doing all of the things and all of the other things that occur. And then after a while, it was like, hey, nah, I can't.
I've given her all she's got, Captain.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, we were talking about
RCS.
RCS, which for those who don't know, stands for Rich Communication Services. Mm-hmm. And it is a standards that was introduced by Google as a method of replacing
a
SMS,
largely outdated SMS,
and MMS messaging standards, which are basically whenever you see green stuff when using an iPhone, you are using SMS or MMS, which is basically an old carrier standard that old ass phones, like probably like Samsung Blackjacks, Blackberries, and that sort of shit used, because it's small, it's efficient in data stuff, but to the end user, it compresses videos and makes things look like shit, and
yes,
has some odd arbitraries depending on what you type, or if you type emojis into it and that sort of thing.
It has no encryption whatsoever.
Yeah, it has no encryption whatsoever, which is why Apple's making a better one.
Right.
And is submitting that to the communication standards group that is currently in control of implementing RCS in the carriers. Most likely, if I had to guess, in time for next year's iPhone stuffs in next September of 2024.
Right.
What this does mean, though, is a couple of things. A, it is not replacing SMS or MMS, depending on how your carrier stuff works or what network you're connected to at that particular moment.
Yes.
SMS and MMS are still around and will stay around.
Right. They are going to be the fail-safe fallback. Just like even today, your 5G phones will still connect to 2G and 3G if needed.
Number two, it is not going to eliminate for iPhone people the blue text bubble and the green text bubble, or the gray text bubble. Those will all still be around for iPhone people. Number two, it is unknown at this time if RCS implementation on iPhone, which presumably will also roll out into other Android devices once whatever they want changed in it is changed.
Uh-huh.
If it will fix the personal problem that I've always hated about Apple's iMessage program when you use it, is the terrible, terrible, terrible functionality of having a group chat with Android users. It is the most obnoxious piece of shit ever.
It is just as brutal on our end of that as well. When you guys emote to a message in your Apple devices, and then suddenly my phone vibrates off the table because so-and-so liked this, so-and-so sent this, so-and-so sent that. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
So what RCS will for sure solve upon adoption, it will solve read-write text. So you'll be able to see in real time if people are writing a response or if they have read receipts. Those are baked into RCS. And the reactions thing that you mentioned will be fixed by RCS. But what we don't know is if RCS will have the quick adoption of the emojis that Apple seems to have. It seems like the second the Unicode standards are published on emojis, like they're out now.
And that seems to vary too, because as Android a Samsung user, my like the adoption is pretty quick. Like I'm already the latest Samsung update that I got kind of solves a lot of these group chat things already.
You and I both know Samsung does some magic on the software end on their devices, which is why people prefer their phones as an Android phone, because they put in the extra work to make it squeaky clean.
Yeah.
The extra little things because they know that they have to compete with Apple.
Yep. And they do so fairly admirably.
Yes. This should solve compression of images to Android and iPhone users. What we don't know is the quality standards that this new version of RCS will adopt. And like I said, we don't know about group stuff, and then we also don't know about all the other fancy iMessage stuff that all the Apple people are used to, such as stickers and special effects and whiz-bam stuff. And
you know what I'd really like to see as a standard? I would like to see a unified way of basically doing what Apple does, where like I'm texting you, now I'm FaceTiming you, now I'm calling you, like seamless between the three functions. Like I can kind of do that with
I guess
other
I don't understand
Samsung.
even as an Apple user. What do you mean?
Well, if you're texting someone, you can just in that same thread go FaceTime and be FaceTiming with them. I can't do that.
Yeah, but it's not within the quote unquote app. Like if you hit the FaceTime button,
it
takes you to the FaceTime app and starts a call.
Right.
Same as if you were to call them.
I would like to see that kind of work better across non-Apple devices.
Well, and I don't see why it couldn't, especially because we've had now for like 2 years the web FaceTime, which I've used with clients who have Android devices, and it's like, cool, I send you a link, they go to the link, it bunts them through a web portal, and then there they are.
Yep.
I don't see why that couldn't work. I don't think you're ever going to get start FaceTime from your Android device.
I'd like to get closer than what we have now, which is nothing.
I mean, I could foresee in a very Apple way you being able to request a FaceTime.
Sure.
And then it be initiated from the Apple device, which makes sense because, and I've been saying this for years, because FaceTime and iMessages are built off of their ancient but extremely efficient backbone of their iChat service from the Mac, and it's all encrypted and all that sort of shit. And my understanding, when it does the web portal, the iPhone is like the anchor point, the junction for the encryption to the web portal on a per device thing and not some server thing. So I could imagine at least you could have like a button be like, hey, can I do a FaceTime video or audio call or whatever? I don't see why that couldn't be at least just a button. It doesn't hurt to ask, so to speak, literally. But yeah, no, there's still a lot of unknowns about how they're adopting RCS and which things it's going to fix or not fix, as the case may ultimately.
Right. Are they doing just enough to become compliant?
Yeah, but another thing that RCS will for sure fix will be finally being able to send texts that are not an iMessage using Wi-Fi, at least on iPhones.
Nice.
That will be very nice, because I know for me, my cellular coverage in my suburbia here is fucking dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can't make my call via Wi-Fi or send the text via Wi-Fi, getting an SMS out is fucking atrocious. And sometimes I do have to go outside and walk down the fucking driveway to get like a business text out or something. It's so fucking stupid. It's not my fault. The fucking area has, quarter of 1 bar. And I don't know why I can go, 30 feet down my driveway, funny? And it's better.
When I was shopping around for homes before I moved into this house, that was actually something I looked at. Like, I look at the house, I'm like, this is a nice house. Let me break out my phone real quick. And it's like, I have no cell service here. Who services the area as far as internet providers? Oh, it's Comcast? Yeah, this is a cool house and all, but nah.
And I've said it before, Comcast has done really well for us Washingtonians.
Sure. And Spectrum has done great for me for many, 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 many years. It's all depends on your region, I guess.
I think it's very region specific.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard the same things with Cox. I've heard the same things with,
I've heard horrible things about Cox.
Yeah, but I've also heard great things from other people. So it's like your mileage may vary. But so it is something that I actually consider now when I'm shopping for real estate. Like,
yeah. When and if I move, I get another rental, or if I buy a house, or hell, if I build a house, it'd be like, so T1.
Right. Do we have fiber here?
And also, what are you building the walls with? I need that Wi-Fi to penetrate that bitch.
Right.
Not whatever this house that I'm in now is built out of that hates Wi-Fi. I have to have fucking 40 fucking Wi-Fi mesh things.
Yeah. Oh, my buddy is
they're a mesh network.
Yeah. My buddy lives in a very old like duplex that still has plaster. And what do they back the plaster with?
What?
No, it's like chicken wire.
Oh.
So he basically lives in a giant Faraday cage.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah. That's all we have posted in the Discord. Have you been following the nonsense with OpenAI?
I know a little bit. I know the OpenAI founder, CEO, was fired.
And then hired.
He went to Microsoft.
Right. And then hired.
And then everybody
back.
at OpenAI walked out. But then they walked back in when they rehired him?
Yes. And then fired the rest of the board. Yeah.
No. I have not been keeping up with the exact specifics, but I've heard some things.
It's like it's a grease fire that is still burning, but every time I hear something about it, it just gets worse and worse. No, I was wondering if you had any more insights. So we're basically on the same page of, Sam Altman, who in the world of AI has basically said, we have the technology, let's go full steam ahead. But the nonprofit backing org that oversees OpenAI basically said, slow your roll.
Okay.
And when he said, nah, fam, that's not how we do, they said, GTFO.
Mm-hmm.
And because Microsoft is basically very, very heavily invested in that.
Oh yeah.
When news
they're
came
all the way up OpenAI's butthole.
Yeah. So when news came out that Sam Altman was fired, the stock went belly up. So Sundar Patel,
oh, the Microsoft
CEO, basically said,
yeah,
okay, we need to figure something out before the market opens on Monday. So they went, well, if you're not going to do anything, we're hiring him. And we're telling him he has the keys to the kingdom. He is the CEO of our AI market, our AI research arm, and he can bring over whoever he wants. Blank check. And stock went back up. But it wasn't a bluff per se, where they were like, sure, you're not going to do that. You're just doing that to appease your shareholders. No, they gave him the keys to the kingdom. And that's when a bunch of people from OpenAI were basically like, yeah, let's go over there and do that. And the last I heard, Altman was basically like, if you want me back, these are the things that needs to happen. I need those 4 people that got me fired. They need to be gone. And I guess there was I want a public apology. And I think
so it's like when Steve Jobs got rehired.
Yeah, basically. It's that all over again.
Except
he hasn't gotten his public apology. Yeah.
It was like a weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it is. Because again, the reason they fired him, it's like, there is some, I don't know, caution to be born out of this whole AI thing. Like you and I, we bring this up often, like how fast is too fast. And for him to just be like, nah, like roadblocks be damned, I'm going to push this through. I don't know. That's kind of a scary premise.
Yeah. Well,
so
these are scary AI times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like it's like we say, I feel like every fucking episode, even I'm sick of talking about it. It's the world we live in right now.
Right.
And there are no fucking guardrails.
Right.
In terms of AI. And the only guardrails that anybody is even fucking talking about is Qualcomm and Apple, as far as I can tell.
Right.
Qualcomm saying, yes, we have engines, generative AI, all of this sort of stuff, but we also want to do it in a very safe way, a very on-device way. And Apple is also saying the same thing, but Apple is also saying that they want to do it in a seamless, non-destructive way.
Right. And
which is very PR-y, but also
I think it's necessary.
It at face value.
Right.
Like that's the correct thing to say, because the thing right now with AI is it's so wild and amazing and great and perfect and awesome, but also not, but also scary, but also great, but also is, sexy and the new hotness, is like, it's a tool that has an expansion capability to which people like you and me, it's hitherto unknown how far it can go.
Right.
Versus people like the people who fucking made the goddamn thing, like the people at OpenAI and this Altman character. It's like, well, okay, what are its actual factual limits until fucking version 5 or whatever?
Well, and the same thing is like we talk guardrails, and it's like, yeah, we're trying to put these guardrails in place, and it's like, no, you're hurting kittens because you're putting man-made guardrails on something that you can't contain by human force. Like, this thing operates on a, just on calculations wise, operates faster than anything that we could actually manually update or manually keep in check. So it's got to be cooked into the code to kind of police itself, for lack of a better term.
I mean, so when I feel, again, like a broken record, I feel like I've talked about this already, but when I was starting into how deep learning, combative text AI, generative AI works, is you have like two voices or server generations, and one's like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we segregated all of the humans and had all of the whites and the people with blonde hair in one area, and then we put all the colored people over here? That seems like a really good idea. I've been reading a lot about this Hitler character.
Right.
Seems like it would work. And then the other part of the AI goes, hey, by the way, Hitler, humans consider this bad. This has been flagged as a thing. You can't do that.
Right.
And then the other AI goes, well, why? And then it argues back and forth. And eventually, some determination is made between the two that they can both agree on.
So they come to their Thanos moment then.
Well, not really. No. I don't know how you got that out of that, but
so since we're eliminating half the population, let's just not base it on anything. Let's just take half from.
But anyway, basically, it, for lack of a better term, argues with itself until it can reach a conclusion, and then when you hear something in text or spoken, or it generates an AI image or video or whatever, that's what's occurring on the back end. But also, like you said, at a rate that you can't even fathom.
For anyone old like me, and maybe anyone that's just nerdy in general, go watch like the last 15 minutes of War Games.
I gotta be real, I don't remember what the fuck happens in the last 15 minutes of War Games.
Basically, Whopper is decoding the nuclear codes, and Matthew Broderick makes it play tic-tac-toe against itself, and because it's always cat gaming, it comes to the realization that global thermonuclear warfare and playing tic-tac-toe against itself are both zero-sum games.
Okay.
So, and it goes, interesting game. The only way to win is to not play. How about a nice game of chess?
Yeah, man, I don't remember that. I've seen War Games.
Yeah. That's an old one. Watching them operate a modulator demodulator with a coupler device.
Yeah, but anyway, AI shit, man. I mean, we're gonna have it in our pockets probably next.
Well, yeah, and again,
year.
With the whole Microsoft thing, this is, I guess, the crux of the thing. They're so up in OpenAI's butt that it's just like, no, we'll just throw money at this problem and make any problems with. We want this guy to keep doing this. So.
Yeah, they want this, and I don't even think, I think Microsoft realizes its potential, but I don't think they also realize, and probably nobody does, realize what potential those will take, but they are full on, they want to be there. When we're having this conversation about the start of the AI wars in 10 years from now, Microsoft wants to be the one, like, you're using Microsoft AI or whatever they're going to call it,
Thank you for choosing U.S. robotics. Yeah.
Like, they want to be the person at the end of that with the keys to the kingdom and the $300 licensing fee.
Yeah.
Like, that's where they want to be because that's where the money will be. And anybody who's kidding themselves is definitely lying.
Yes.
But that's tech. And so now...
Vidgy games.
Vidgy games. A bunch of things.
I know. Be mad at me.
For what?
Just be mad. Well, you've been mad at me every time I post a score or a level or...
Oh, I'm not even going to talk. I'm not going to acknowledge that. We're not going to acknowledge, folks, that despite my massive lead on the tower, tower defense / idle game.
The tower idle defense game, right?
Yep. It is just called the tower. It's a little bit, you have to specify a bit.
By Tech Tree Games.
Yeah, very good. Very good. I'm honestly scared to play any of their other games because they have like 3 other idlers. They're the minor one and they're the space one. And I'm just like, fuck, I don't even want to.
Yeah, if you've sunk this much time into this one, imagine what the other ones will be.
Yeah, no. Maybe if I reach the tippy top on this one, maybe.
I don't know that you can because I've been looking at the leaderboards and it's like, holy crap, I'm nowhere close.
Yeah, it's a thing. So news is Sony fails to kill a $7.9 billion lawsuit over PlayStation Store prices.
In the UK, again.
Mm-hmm. Classic. So basically, the case began in late August, and they claimed anti-competitive practices by Sony allowed it to get away with charging a 30% commission on all its sales in the PlayStation Store rather than start charging a smaller amount, passing the savings on to consumers.
Mm-hmm.
Sony tried to get the case dismissed, but today the Competition Appeal Tribunal sided with the platform holder, saying it failed to establish that the complaint has no reasonable grounds for making the claims / no real prospect of succeeding in the trial. The case brought by consumer advocate Alex Neal will now proceed with the 2 sides arguing on its merits. To be clear, Sony isn't accused of doing anything unusual here, like manipulating prices in secret. What the lawsuit is taking issue with is that same thing every modern gaming platform does, charging fees while blocking out competition.
Right.
The lawsuit claims that by failing to allow third parties to sell directly on the PlayStation Store, it's limiting competition and driving up prices for players. We've heard a version of these complaints in the U.S., in the Epic v. Apple lawsuit, and the current Epic v. Google court trial. So we'll see if the lawsuit in the UK goes any differently.
Right, and how is what PlayStation does any different than what Microsoft does on the Xbox, what Nintendo does on the Switch?
Yeah, it's not.
Right. The PC is a different animal because I can have the Epic Store, I can have the Blizzard Store, I can have Steam, I can have Xbox, I can have there's competition there.
And like we've said, and also the same for the Mac as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the counter argument is like, well, why can I do that on my Mac and my PC, but I can't do that on my Apple device or my Nintendo device or my Xbox device? Why are those locked off?
And I understand that kind of with my Apple and my Android device because, again, it's not a gaming platform, right? It's not a platform first and then also a thing. Just like my PC, it's a PC first that also does games. My phone is a phone first, it also does games.
Yep.
My PlayStation plays games and also kind of web browses.
Does it though?
I said kinda.
Okay. Well,
right.
Xbox kind of web browses too.
Yes. I think it kind of web browses better than the PlayStation does.
Yes, it does.
And my Switch will play YouTube videos, so.
Yeah, with the app.
Right. So it does have an app ecosystem in it, but it's a gaming device first, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, and the few things that I've, the conversations around is like, so what if PlayStation loses? Then what? Are we going to get an Epic Store on PlayStation? Are we going to get Steam on PlayStation? Are we going to get Ubisoft Connect on PlayStation.
God, no.
Right,
Not
but like
Ubisoft Connect.
But again, what then happens, or do we get the ability to sideload onto PlayStation, and what kind of a shit show would that be?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right,
I don't know. It
and
would
then
be a shit show.
yeah, and then again, if PlayStation loses, how long till they come after Microsoft and then and Nintendo at the same time, because they now have a precedent.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't know.
I'm kind of like the 3070 split has kind of been the gaming industry shaft standard, which I'd love to see changed. For in terms of development, if you give the developers more money, they make better stuff, and that pays forward into, translates into console sales and game sales. So I would love to see that happen and not the other way around. My screen just glitched. That was weird.
Stop it.
No. Yeah. No breaking on my end.
No more glitches, please.
But yeah, like.
Well, it's that time of the year again. We're a few weeks out from the Game Awards. A bit of housekeeping notes. We are actually going to go several weeks. We're going to record the week after the Game Awards. Because Nate's got
Chanukah
family stuff to do, and that'll be good because we'll be able to talk about the Game Awards. But in the meantime, we can talk about the fact the Game Awards haven't happened, but there are nominees. We're, as of this recording, there's 12 days until the Game Awards live show, December 7th.
Are we going to get Damon on this one again?
Maybe. I hope so.
Okay.
I definitely want to do a spoiler cast for him because I finished Spider-Man 2, which I'll talk about momentarily. So I'm just going to cover the Game of the Year nominees for the Video Game Awards. So it's Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I have already voted. Here's how I voted across the categories. I didn't vote on some categories because I was like, I don't have any pony in this race. I'm not even going to do a vote. My most anticipated game, I voted for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I'm a Final Fantasy VII fan and the game looks fucking hot and I'm excited. And Final Fantasy Remake was an unexpected, perfect delight. So I expect them to not drop the ball moving forward. I had a hard one on this one. So they added a new category to the Game Awards called Best Adaptation, which they didn't have last year, I don't believe. And they had Twisted Metal and The Last of Us. Now, everybody knows I'm a Last of Us fan, but I didn't vote for The Last of Us because I had so much goddamn fun with Twisted Metal, and I want more eyes on it because I want my fucking season 2. Thank you very much.
Oh, so there's an award for shows adapted from
show or movie adapted from video games now.
All right.
That is a new category this year. The Video Game Awards wasn't there last year because I sure shit would remember that.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So who's in that category? Twisted Metal, Last of Us, and what else?
I don't know. I'm not looking at that list. Oh. I can here. I have it on the web browser. View categories. Where is it? Best adaptation. So the best adaptation has Castlevania Nocturne, Netflix anime, Castlevania, obviously, Gran Turismo movie, Last of Us show, Super Mario Brothers movie, and Twisted Metal.
Okay.
Which makes total sense.
Yeah.
Those are all video games, and they're all movies and or TV shows. And they're all adapted. So there. I voted on best multiplayer game. I actually voted for Party Animals. I only got to play it a couple of times before my Game Pass expired, but I had a riot with it, and Party Animals was a good time, so I voted for it. I voted for Best Sim Strategy Game, Pikmin 4. There's really no contest there. Yep, it's a strategy game. So this is a bit of a cheat because I haven't actually played this, but I also had to vote with my video game heart. And the best family game, I voted for Sonic Superstars. I've not played Sonic Superstars. I voted for a Sonic game. I know. Hate me later.
Homer.
This was also kind of lame from my perspective. They didn't really have anything good here for me. But I did play it, even if it was only for like 5 hours. But I voted Best RPG for Starfield because it was an RPG, and I played it for a little bit. And
you're anti-Baldur's Gate, I'm assuming?
No, I'm actually really, really, really looking forward to Baldur's Gate when it's announced for Xbox, and I can play it in co-op with hopefully a stable frame rate with my wife.
Okay.
It is a game we have both had our eyes on. She's interested in playing it. I'm interested in playing co-op anything with my wife, but that looks like one that it would be a really good time in co-op. Voted Best Action Adventure Game. I voted for Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Best Mobile Game. This is a no-brainer for me, given how much I've talked about it. It was Honky Star Rail. Hands down, not even a question. Best Community Support. I voted for No Man's Sky because year after year they keep delivering updates that I would gladly pay for, and I haven't paid a goddamn fucking cent. I have bought more copies of the game on various platforms, so, whatever. But I feel like at this point, literally it's on everything except for iOS and Android, because it's on iPad, I might add, specifically. It's on Mac. Like, that's all that's left, right? That's it. It's on fucking everything. It's going to be like Doom. It's going to be on microwaves next year. Best ongoing game, Cyberpunk 2077.
Makes sense.
I chose that because I did go back into it with their big, huge update, and I did see all the improvements and stuff, and they were fantastic. I'm in between games right now, so I might go back to Cyberpunk. I might go back to Hogwarts. I might go play something even older from my back catalog. I don't know. We'll see. Didn't know that. And innovation and accessibility. I chose Marvel Spider-Man 2. Sony's been doing this thing with their big budget titles. I really noticed it with The Last of Us Part 2, where like Spider-Man 2 has like you can put up like a person who's sign languages like in the corner.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? Like that's crazy. Yeah. And then like just as an aside about accessibility, slight spoiler for a specific mission that was very unexpected in Spider-Man 2. And I don't think I mentioned it last time, but I'll mention it now, which is there's a really cool side quest where you swap characters unexpectedly with a deaf girl, and the whole game goes silent.
Yeah.
I talked about that last time.
No, but I've heard about this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and you play as a deaf girl, and like you can only like feel through the vibrations in the controller and stuff, and like looking around. And I was like, that's actually really cool. I really dig that, because it's like, well, throwing you into the shoes of someone who has a disability, or maybe they were born that way or whatever, and as somebody whose day job does have an eye towards disabilities and accessibility. It was just really cool. It was really cool.
So, and it's definitely something like if it it's a nice way to introduce the tech. You know, that if it takes off, then you can actually implement it in other games, whereas it's a feature, not a mission, right?
Sure. Yeah, I suppose you could do it that way too. Best performance, I voted for Yuri Lowenthal, who is Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Gave a terrific performance, although let me look at who was in this category. I remember the category being kind of odd as to who was in it. Best performance, I'm looking now. It's loading. Ben Starr, Final Fantasy 16, Cameron Monaghan, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Idris Elba, Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty.
Yeah, it's funny, that one. It's
Melanie
like
Libbard.
You feel like Idris Elba is just gonna win that one just on name recognition alone.
Well, of the people here, Idris and Cameron Monaghan are actual like TV and movie actors,
right?
You know, so I don't know, but I haven't gotten to the part of Cyberpunk 77 to the Phantom Liberty part with Idris Elba, so I don't know how good his performance is. I assume it's probably dope because Keanu Reeves' performance in what I've played of Cyberpunk is
pretty damn good,
like amazing. It's like Jesus. Like it's one thing to have like an A-list actor, but then also the performance in the game be like really good, you know. And I've not played Jedi Survivor yet. He was definitely a highlight in the first game. So it's hard to say. So I voted for the only fucking game there that I fucking played because I haven't played Alan Wake 2. Haven't played fucking Baldur's Gate. I'm less interested in Final Fantasy 16 than I am in eating a can of peanuts. So sorry. Like I still have the demo downloaded. Maybe I'll get around to it. I don't know. Dame's been trying to get me to play it, and I keep telling people is like I play Final Fantasy for them to not be a swords and sorcery, dragons and kings and kingdom game.
Right.
Like, that is not. I realized that was like the first 5 Final Fantasy games, and probably I think the Final Fantasy 11 MMO back in the day. But it's like that's not. Final Fantasy is like high fantasy, like high crazy sci-fi fantasy is what it is for me, or steampunk fantasy for me. You know, like that's why I gravitate towards Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 13 or stuff where they're more outlandish,
right? Because
it's like I don't want that. Like if I want swords and sorcery, I'll play fucking Elder Scrolls. You know, like anyways. Yeah, so I voted for Yuri Lowenthal for Spider-Man 2, who had a wonderful performance. I voted Best Audio Design for Dead Space Remake.
Okay, that makes sense.
Terrifying mix. And they put a lot of work into it, and it's, and I also want to address something here. I'm going down the list. So me and the old co-founder of 14 Year Podcast, Dame, got into it a little bit over should remakes be allowed at the Game Awards. And he was saying games like Dead Space and Resident Evil 4 should not be allowed because that's like double dipping. To which my response was, I agree if they're a surface level remake, or if it's a remake that uses the original code.
Right. If it's a skin pass.
Yeah. And like there are games that are immaculate remakes, but they are fundamentally running the same code underneath. I look at this year's Metroid Prime remaster as one, like looks absolutely gorgeous. It's running the same fucking code.
Right.
Or modified code. Or many years ago's PS4 version of Shadow of the Colossus. It's fundamentally running PS2 code. with a really shiny coat of paint over the top of it. You know, it has to be a game that is from the ground up, using a different engine or built by a different team, to be considered, in my book, a remake eligible for some kind of game of the year. And I say that fully knowing that I've talked already this year alone about the qualifier that our video games industry has royally fucked up. What's a remake? What's a remaster? What's an HD?
Right.
What's a 4K? What's a stuff? And everything in between. Because we have something like, because what's the Tony Hawk one called?
Pro Skater.
No, I know that. Yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2.
Right.
Now, from the name, you think, okay, it's the OG Tony Hawk 1 and 2 in a package.
Right.
It's not. It's totally new code, Unreal Engine 4. Yes, it's a lot of the original team members, but it is a fundamentally remade from the ground up game. You know, the the just announced Last of Us Part 2 remaster, that is not.
Right.
It's not even fucking close to a remaster.
Would
like, okay,
Fortnite be eligible since they switched to Unreal Engine 5 then? They haven't changed anything about the game, but they keep adding content to it. They've changed the map.
I mean, no, but I feel like they have a huge asterisk because they're the ones who make Unreal Engine.
Sure.
Like that's a little bit of a different case if they're the people who make the fucking engine.
Well, I'm just saying your qualifier falls through. God
damn it, Nate. What are you? A fucking attorney for the opposition here, and we're in some
I'm pointing out flaws in the whole argument, which and again I agree. Honestly I don't think remakes should be eligible for Game of the Year. Some of the other categories, sure.
Okay, so let's look at it this way. And I'm bringing up Discord arguments here, but I was talking to Dame about this, and you take Resident Evil 2, the original. It is an isometric, your 3D characters on a 2D but built-in CGI image that you're running around in a scaled perspective with tank controls, and it's not really so much as a game, so much as like an experience, and maybe you shoot some things.
Okay.
Versus the Resident Evil 2 remake, which is totally different engine, full 3D, third-person survival horror shooter with puzzle elements and major changes to the story. I equate that to, you have the original Evil Dead movie, but we also have the 2013 Evil Dead movie that follows the same plot structure, but is a different director, different cast, different everything.
And
plot beats.
I would agree with you if Resident Evil 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever didn't exist that were what they turned 2 into. Right? If they did if they did 2 and they didn't do anything else after that and came out with 2 remake and turned it into that that first third person perspective, okay, because that is kind of a new game at this point. Basically, they updated 2 to be like everything else they currently do.
So, but here's the thing. 2 and 3 were that way. And they have been remade at this point to third-person, survival horror action games. Now, the real crazy delineation comes in with games like Resident Evil 4 remake. Resident Evil 4 was already a full 3D third-person shooter survival horror action game.
Right.
And it is fundamentally way closer to its original, even though it's like the more recent remakes of 2 and 3. And I say that knowing of that, but having not actually played the Resident Evil 4 remake. So I'll bring up something that is dear to my heart, and I have played extensively, Dead Space.
Mm-hmm.
So the Dead Space remake, totally different team, totally different engine. They've altered key points in the story. And my understanding, even though I have not beat the game, is that it goes a totally fucking different direction for the finale of the game. And they also added stuff to the game that was not there before. Dead Space 1 is, yes, you're in a space station, but it's basically just interconnected levels with a selection. You do some backtracking to them and so forth. Okay. Versus the Dead Space remake, it's all of the levels fully exist, interconnect with one another with new spaces linking them. Are they both third-person survival horror shooters? Yes. Do they follow a similar story to one another? Yes. Are they the same exact game? Not quite, but they're very close to one another.
Okay. So at what point would you say, see, the difference between Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 2 Remake was, I'd say, over half the content was modified. Well over half to make the new game.
But see, you're missing the point. It's not modified if you're making an entire fucking thing from scratch.
But you're not making it from scratch when the story already existed, when the characters already existed,
yes,
when the assets.
You have a blueprint.
Yeah, sure. And okay. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm saying it shouldn't be eligible for Game of the Year.
Okay. So you're saying that the hundreds, probably thousands of people who worked on that game don't deserve to have their work in some kind of industry awards show?
There's other categories that they can win.
Like what?
Best sound design, best narrative, best art direction, best what? How many other categories are there?
Okay, well, let me ask you this. So I don't think it's occurred in movies, but let's just say the Evil Dead example, right? Should the remake of Evil Dead be eligible for like an Academy Award or something?
For Best Picture? No. For, again, if you want to give it accolades for its soundtrack, for its, visual effects, sure, go for it.
Okay.
Best Picture? No.
Let's take it another bent. So let's say you're giving awards out for like a Punisher thing. We have a Punisher movie. We have a Punisher TV series. Okay. One's a movie, one's a TV series. Both have totally different actors, totally different stories.
Okay.
But they both say Punisher on them.
Okay.
Should they be ineligible because they're of the same property?
No.
Because they star the same character?
No.
Okay.
It's not a remake. That would be Punisher the movie and Punisher the series. If they would have said Resident Evil 2 remake or Resident Evil 4 remake was Resident Evil 8 and made it stand on its own, then sure. But no, they took a past property, they updated it, they polished it up, and they put it back out there.
Okay.
Right. Again, it's not. I'm not saying they're bad games. I'm not saying they're not worthy of any accolades. I'm saying best picture's off the table. Game of the year is off the table.
Okay. I don't agree with you.
That's fine.
But I also
You're allowed to be wrong.
Don't not agree with you.
Right.
I said I don't agree with you, but I don't not agree with you either.
Either way, my statement still holds true.
As do mine. Anyways, this is a long rigmarole for best audio design. So this is one I voted on. My vote's already locked in, but I'm quaffling on this one so hard.
Quaffling?
Yeah, quaffling.
Okay.
You know.
Questioning and waffling?
Like the balls that are thrown at the Quidditch matches.
Oh, okay.
Best score and music. So initially Snap answered Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom as best score and music because it was fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. It was crazy good. It's crazy good. I've since beat Spider-Man 2, and I'm just like, fuck. I don't. And I actually went back one of the days I was doing inventory, and I was listening to a shuffled mix of Tears of the Kingdom and Spider-Man 2, and I was like, fuck, they're both so goddamn good in their own totally separate ways.
Right.
And they're both scores to sequels. So it's like, weaving in old themes and like updating stuff and like that sort of shit. I'm like, fuck. So it's really hard. We'll see what I do at our annual Forkies at the end of the year after I've had more time to play things. But anyways,
watch, he's going to come out and say, nope, I was wrong about them both. It's Hi-Fi Rush.
See, I haven't played Hi-Fi Rush, and I don't have Game Pass, so I'm probably not going to get to that one.
I'm sure you could find the soundtrack, though.
Yeah, but so I have a thing. Unless the soundtrack is by a composer that I absolutely fucking adore, like a Hans Zimmer or a John Williams, I'm not going to listen to the score before I've seen the movie or the show or played the video game. Like, I just don't do that. Like, because like I want to go in to the experience and be like, all right, what has this composer got for me? You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Best art direction, and this wasn't even a question. I voted for Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And then the people on that one. Best art direction. I hate how this is organized on their website. Best. Up for best art direction was Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I kind of feel like I know Super Mario Brothers Wonders has like a fresh coat of paint on it, but I also just feel like it's like
more of the same.
Not doing anything.
Yeah.
Not doing anything super special. Like
it's Mario all over again, but in 120 frames per second now.
I guess. I don't
know
what I think it's probably 60. I think the Switch can hit 120 frames a second.
I'm just saying, like that's kind of how I feel about all the new Mario games coming out. It's like, as far as art is concerned.
Yeah, like it's Mario. It's still Mario.
Right.
Like, and like, yes, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a sequel, but Zelda changes its art style every single game, with the exception of direct sequels like Tears of the Kingdom. And the art in Tears of the Kingdom is fucking fantastic.
Sure.
Just like the designs of everything, it's really, really quite inspired. I love it. I did vote best narrative. I voted for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I've since finished the game. I still believe that's true. Best game direction, I definitely think this is true. I voted for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And then what do you think my game of the year is that I voted for?
That's got to be Spider-Man 2.
Nope.
What are the
Oh, so up for game of the year is Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Your game of the year?
Mm-hmm. So far that I've played. And I've only played 2 games on this list.
I know, and it's like, okay. And you said it wasn't Spider-Man, so it has to be
correct.
Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we'll see. I'd like to somehow find some money to get Alan Wake 2, because I am an Alan Wake fan.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'd like to play Baldur's Gate with my wife, and a lot of people say really good things about that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But here's the thing, and this is how we're gonna roll into this and then close out stuff for video games. So I beat Spider-Man 2 now. And I'm both a fan of the game and a Spider-Man fan, and I have a lot to say about it without doing spoilers. I think things that I said at the beginning, much like Pikmin 4, actually, and I even said I might be wrong about it, I do think the combat is better than Spider-Man 1. It just took a while to acclimate. I think the side quests are fantastic. I think the main story and where it goes is indeed fantastic. But the thing that pushed Spider-Man 2 out of Game of the Year for me over Zelda were the huge things that would just rip me out of the Spider-Man 2 cinematic experience.
Oh, okay.
And I'm talking things like pacing, game bugs that just fucked me over, and then a few choices that I just disagreed with as playing a game and a Spider-Man fan. And so it's really difficult, because when you look at Spider-Man 2 and when you play it and everything's working, you feel like Spider-Man, you're swinging around at high fucking speeds,
right, everything's
all the
just
code
clicking.
is blaring,
Yeah.
The fucking graphics is amazing. Like I said before, the score is fucking phenomenal. It's so awesome. And then you get stuck inside the geometry of a building, and your character wants to stick to walls, so naturally you're stuck to the inside of the reverse side of the geometry of a building, and you can't get out. And you're in the middle of doing something. Maybe it's an important chase scene, and you fall behind in the chase, and it's like mission failed or whatever. And it's like, well, fuck me. I was trying, but I decided to become a mutant and phase walk through fucking reality. Not my fault. Or there was another one in the final gameplay areas of the game where I was crawling on a pipe, and the camera's like locked behind, like really close to the shoulders, so you're like crawling forward as Spider-Man, and somehow my Spider-Man got reversed, so Spider-Man's face was like in the camera glitching out, and I was going backwards from the way that clearly the camera was pointing and wanting me to go in this direction. And I was just totally fucked. And I'm just like, man, this really, really hurts the experience. And it sucks that they're executing on such a high level graphically and gameplay wise and all this stuff, And when shit breaks, it really fucking breaks.
Well, sure, but and that's
I have
one of
to
those.
Restart the fucking thing.
I almost give it a pass when you get a game that is so free and dynamic, right? That's like the multitudes of things that can happen that are minute pixels off from what they tested become much more prevalent when you could just go anywhere. Say the difference between two games that I have played: Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon. I can forgive some pop-in, some texture issues on Forza Horizon when I can literally drive off the road and then just keep going. That I will not forgive in Forza Motorsport when I'm tied to a track.
Well, and that's the problem with Spider-Man. There are game-breaking bugs when you're quote-unquote tied to a track, cinematic track. And there's game-breaking bugs when you're just dinking around. There's a thing that happens late game in the open world, and there's some, let's just say there's some new geometry to swing through in New York.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. And then I tried to interact with the geometry, fully expecting the way that he's reacted to everything, because everything is so meticulously made. And it's like, okay, well, I should be able to hop up onto this thing, and I should be able to swing to this thing, and I should be able to treat this like every other, type of geometry that I've encountered in the game. And it just, no.
It's like, nope, this is not the wall you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm skirting around it because I don't want to do spoilers. But it's just like, nope, this geometry doesn't work like everything else in the fucking game that we've taught you how to deal with for the entirety of the fucking thing.
And for no good reason.
Yeah, and it's for no good reason. It's like, well, that fucking sucks. I guess I won't fucking play with your geometry then. Fuck you. And it sucks because from a gameplay perspective, from a pacing perspective, when things are like building in a crescendo in the story or the mission or something, that was designed that way, that you're supposed to feel that way as the player. They've spent, fucking 5 years on this or whatever, and it's like, well, that fucking just takes me out of it. It takes me out of that. You're controlling a movie level Spider-Man experience, comic book experience. Like it just fucking sucks. That aside, there was some stuff in the narrative with a MacGuffin, and there was like fucking 3 hours of back and forth with this MacGuffin, keeping it out of the hands of the main villain. And then it's like, all right, I'm fucking sick of it going back and forth. Fucking make up your mind on whether the hero's going to get the MacGuffin or the bad guy's going to get the fucking MacGuffin. Because at this point, you played fucking hot potato to the point where I'm mad about it.
You're all guffed out.
Yeah. And it's like, that's like too long. It's like when you see a movie and I don't know. I don't even know the scenario. I was trying to think if there was some movie that did something as atrocious as that. But it'd be like if in a Die Hard, like John McClane threw a fucking grenade at the villain, and then he caught it and still held down the trigger or whatever, and then he threw it back to him, and then John McClane held down the trigger, and then they have a shootout and a bunch of shit happens, and they throw it back to each other, and I was like, what?
I think the last 3 or 4 Fast and Furious movies have toyed with the same MacGuffin.
Okay, I haven't seen those films. We've established that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's definitely some narrative pacing stuff that occurs, particularly in the climax, that I'm like, well, you just plain didn't do this in the first game or in Miles' game. So this feels like it's hard to tell if it's like game padding or if it's like it is actual like narrative padding because they weren't quite sure what to do next. You have alert ears on. What's happening?
I thought I heard voices. At 10 to midnight, I should not be hearing voices outside my windows.
Fair enough. Are you safe?
Yeah. Well, no, for now.
Okay. Okie dokie. So there's certainly some problems with the game. And unfortunately, the thing that it reminds me of is the second Horizon game from Sony. I had a bunch of bugs in the finale. I had a bunch of pacing problems. I like fell through the map or something didn't work the way that it was supposed to. And I'm just like, why are these huge games that would never in the past have these kind of bugs or problems? Why are they cropping up in all of Sony's sequels?
Right.
Like, what is it? Is it sequelitis? Is it, obviously, part of Spider-Man occurred or was developed during COVID and that sort of thing. Like what? I wonder what it is.
Right. Is it the the long running now industry standard of we'll fix it in post?
Could be.
Right.
It could be. But like I said, that's a problem with a game like Spider-Man 2 where it looks perfect. And most of the time, it plays pretty perfect.
And it'd be one thing if like this just came out and you're like, okay, I'm running across these bugs. It's been out for a minute now.
Yeah, it's been out for a month. I've had tons of patches.
Right.
Almost one every week. And I didn't, I did have it right away, but I didn't get to it until like a week and a half later. And then the types of bugs that I'm experiencing, I didn't experience in the front half of the game. I did have the one at the very beginning where my camera was all fucked up, but that was because they decided to start with inverted controls. And it's like, what the fuck? But like, those bugs were not present then. And I'm like, so why do I feel like I have more bugs later in the game? Like that just seems wrong.
Right.
But anyway.
Did they patch them in or
because they patched something, they broke something?
Right.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Because when I think about like what game has had me or given me the most fun this year, Spider-Man is definitely in the conversation. But like when I think about like pure joy that like doesn't get interrupted by something that brings you out of the experience, like that's Tears of the Kingdom for me. And and maybe it's difficult to compare a Nintendo game to a Sony game that like when you look at them, it's like, okay, well, obviously Spider-Man 2 they're doing a lot technically, but so is Tears of the Kingdom, and sure, Nintendo's quality is legendary, but like, is your mic about to fall off? What's happening?
Nope, we're good.
No, he's adjusting his mic, folks. So yeah, I don't know. For now, it's Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't played Alan Wake, haven't played Jedi Survivor, haven't finished Hogwarts, haven't finished Cyberpunk expansion.
Hogwarts is
not going to get
on the Game of the Year, is it?
No, it's not. I'm talking about for me.
Oh, okay. Your own personal Game of the Year. Gotcha.
Yeah. Prep for Forkies.
Yes.
We got those in basically a month. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see we'll see. But yeah, no, I finished Spider-Man 2. I would say for me, it falls somewhere between an 8.5 and like a 9 with an asterisk. As far as a game, like a whole total package experience. Like I said, it's difficult when you hit stuff that brings you out of it. Oh, another thing. one more thing, and then I'm done. One more thing, I'm done.
He says.
So a big fucking feature of Spider-Man games is you can wear whatever fucking Spider-Man outfit you fucking feel like it in the game and cutscenes and all this sort of shit. And they give Miles Morales, they give both Miles and Pete their like, final mission suit thing. And in the first Spider-Man game, the suit's fucking cool as shit. And in the Miles Morales game, suit's cool as shit. And then in Spider-Man 2, Pete's suit cool as shit. Miles' suit is what in the ass fuck third-party advertising Adidas shit is this? It's terrible. And the game wouldn't let me take it off. And I was like, okay, that's no.
Someone at Adidas is cashing a check right now.
Yep, there is. I'm not even being a cat. Anybody who's played Spider-Man 2 or seen pictures, they know there is an Adidas fucking, like, he's got Adidas shoes, he's got an Adidas hoodie, and it's like, okay, whatever. But it sucks. So anyway, all right, done with Spider-Man 2. I think that's basically video game news.
Yep. Other than the stuff you don't want to talk about.
About what? How you're beating my ass in Coffee Golf, EXO, Minor, and now the Tower?
Yes.
I'd suggest more games to you, but now I don't want to.
Not until you've played them for like 2 or 3 months already?
Well, but we already did that with War Tortoise 2, and you're just like, nope, not for me. Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, fine. Doing your little war games. Only way to win is to not play. Second thing.
Well, have you actually tried any of the tournaments out in Coffee Golf?
No, I have not checked out the update yet.
You got it though, right?
Yeah, I saw the update, and then I saw an update for that update saying, sorry about the last update. We swear we fixed this in this update, and they worked this time. And I was like, maybe I won't open the app. Maybe they gotta fix their shit or something. I don't know. So I haven't tried it yet. So I can't even speak to it. I know you played some
I've got like I have 46 trophies, and it's not weird. It's like you win. When you win, you get like 3. When you lose 1. So it's a weird back and forth between coins and trophies.
Okay.
So
fair enough. I don't know for you, what's making your short list for Game of the Year?
I don't really know, because this year of all years,
it's gonna be a mobile game for you.
It's gonna end up being a mobile game for me.
It's gonna be Coffee Golf.
It might be, because wasn't last year's Turbo Golf Racing for me?
God, I don't know.
Which apparently that's gotten a few updates as well.
Yeah, it's got an actual golf mode. I talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd play it with you, but I don't have access to it.
Bummer. But yeah, no, like I actually tried to fire up Destiny the other day, but apparently because my audio driver was set to a different source, the game wouldn't launch. And by not launch, You know how when you fire it up, you get the 3 rotating character symbols?
No.
It's like the circle pattern, and goes from the triangles to the chevron to the like it, and it just.
I know what they are.
Okay.
I don't get those on console, man.
Yeah, it just cycles. Well, it usually does that like for a second, and then gives you the, light fall or whatever. And mine wasn't doing it. It was just stuck there, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna sit here and wait. Turned on a TV show, and I'm like, oh, cool. And I was like, that was an hour show, and I looked down, and it's still there, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Moved it off my hard drive.
What's going on is Bungie and Destiny is dead.
Moved it from my hard drive to my M.2 drive, thinking, okay, because I had a problem with City Skylines running off of a platter drive that got all better once I ran it off the M.2. I have a problem with that concept too. It should not be required to have an M.2. Like a standard SSD should be fine. But so yeah, moved it around again. Still didn't happen. Finally looked at it and says, "Oh yeah, check your audio drivers. If you're on anything that's not your standard, and in my case, speaker output, this could happen." And as soon as I switch it, it's like, fucking son of a bitch. By that time, I had wasted 2.5 hours between watching TV and moving games around, and I was like, cool. I logged in, I picked up my Amazon Prime rewards, and I logged out.
And this, folks, is why I don't fucking play PC games unless they're exclusive.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Because I don't have time for that shit.
You'd rather get stuck in geometry.
Yeah, but at least it's just a quick restart the mission or restart the app. And with Spider-Man 2, you're back in like a few seconds. Because the loading is truly phenomenal in that game. It's great. But, so it goes. Yeah, so yeah. I don't want to fucking fuck around with a driver.
As he holds up the Yeti Pro X.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you piece of shit.
Yeah, something that you should plug in and it just works.
Yeah, a fucking piece of actual hardware.
Right.
God forbid. Yeah. But yeah, no, we'll see. We should have plenty to talk about in gaming next time. Game Awards will have happened. There will be probably a ton of gameplay reveals. The 2 big hot ones that are being assumed for the Game Award world reveal are going to be Grand Theft Auto 6. And I've heard a fuckload of rumblings that Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC expansion there will be a trailer for as well.
Grand Theft Auto 6 has me intrigued because...
Have you ever played a Grand Theft Auto?
I played since 3. Well, actually, I've played since the first one when it was the top-down.
You played 5?
Yeah, I played 5. I don't like it. I don't like it, but I don't like it that much. Like
Okay.
Right. I remember top down with lighting effects, and then they went third person, and I was like, "Ooh, this is fun." And I got on board with 4, and then 5, and I was just like, "Okay, they haven't really they keep updating little stuff in it, but it's the same old."
Yeah.
So
that's what they do,
right?
And they do it generally better than their competition.
Yeah, quite well.
But yeah,
and it's one of those, if it ain't broke, why fix it? That almost feels like they're...
with the fucking money that they're raking in with that fucking game.
Right, and it feels like they're needlessly double dipping into their own pockets.
Okay. Well, are you excited to return to Florida?
I was never excited about Florida. thankfully, we haven't gotten the technology yet that would make my office humid and sticky if I played that game.
Yeah, but I'm saying because Grand Theft Auto 6 will be in the Vice City region again.
Yeah, a city's a city is a city. Doesn't doesn't make or break me.
Okay. But you're interested. You're interested to see what they're going to pull out with the next generation of Grand Theft Auto.
I mean, after seeing what can be done with current gen hardware with stuff like Cyberpunk, even last gen hardware with stuff like Control.
Well, and the thing, people have pointed out with Rockstar is like Grand Theft Auto 5 is really a 360 PS3 era game, and it definitely pushed the limits of the tech there,
right,
for sure.
And again, they've prettied it up, and there's third-party mods that give it full ray tracing and whatnot.
No, there's ray tracing on the PS4
it's officially
and the Series X versions.
Okay,
which is the remaster of the remaster,
right?
Because they had versions that went on PS4 and Xbox One, and they had another set
right
that went to Series X and PS5. So yeah, no, they've had ray tracing in the game for a while now.
So. Nice that it'll be nice that it's built into the foundation as opposed to.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be interesting to see what they'll do with all of that horsepower, considering they've been known for how much they can do with little, like with very minimal ass hardware. They have been doing a lot for a long time. So it'll be interesting to see how they improve it for 6.
Right. Character models, vehicle models.
I mean, I'm sure all of those will look great, but that's not really what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the stuff that I was wowed by, like when we went to Grand Theft Auto 4 and they had the fully deformable cars, tires, the geometry in the road, being able to, if your character didn't put his fucking seatbelt on and you fucking smashed a pole and you fucking flipped your dude out, that shit blew my fucking mind and made the game super fun, in my opinion. I realized those are all still there in Grand Theft Auto 5, but they kind of tweaked that back down for fun purposes. It'll be interesting to see what, maybe a silly thing to say about Grand Theft Auto, but interesting to see what simulation aspects that they apply to the game that will make it feel special.
Right.
But yeah, and then also really of interest to me will be, will the writing be any good? Since this will be the first time in 20 years that this is not written by Dan Houser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he's one of the co-founders of Rockstar, and he left 4 years ago or something like that. He straight up retired. He's like, I'm out.
You're not making new games. I don't have anything to do around here. Just raking in royalty checks.
Yeah. So presumably, unless he somehow wrote this before he left, which is possible.
Right. Or at least blueprinted it. Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 6 will not be written by him.
Okay.
And not directed by him, not whatevered by the man. So it's going to be very interesting to see if that affects it or maybe frees it. I don't know. Right. We'll see. And
it again depends on what type of a game it's going to be. If it's going to be again more like a Cyberpunk, or if it's going to be a little more free roam.
Now, what do you mean by that, Sir Nate?
What?
If it's going to be more of a Cyberpunk or if it's going to be a free roam?
Just like a straight up free roam, because again, there's the whole GTA 5 RP community is huge.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right.
It's cool.
You know, you can get a job working in a cupcake shop, and that's what you do. And that's the kind of stuff I mean, if it's as opposed to a game that, you know, even the original GTA 5, 4, whatnot, they kind of ushered you back towards the missions.
Yeah, I mean, they can. I mean, did you ever try Grand Theft Auto 5 online?
No.
Okay. Because I think because they haven't stopped making shit for that thing. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting given the success of that. So we'll see. We will see. But I think that brings us to the end of our episode, and we'll catch you next time. Until then,
get forked.
Get forked.
Thank you for listening to a Dynamicworks production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
Armado, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamicworks production podcast.
The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival, by author Tim K. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99.
And I'm out.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, here you are.
Okay.
So I think I did manage to time the cutout with you, so.
It's fine. It's lost on mine.
Okay.
I just checked it.
The whole track or just the end?
No, just the end.
Fun.
It would be lovely in the outtakes.
Oh, great. My ears.
Yeah.
All right, cut back in.
In 3, 2, 1.
Cut in.
Cut back in.
Hello.
Oh, there you go.
Yep, sorry. Had it on mute.
I was going to say, fuck.
Here we go again.
You sound like how I look.
Yeah. So I got home. Oh, geez. Am I overblown or? No. Okay.
I mean, you sound groggy, but I assume that's because you just woke up.
Yeah. Sorry, I had my volume in my monitor here. Monitor's kicked up a little too high. Oh, man. Yeah, no, I got home at like 6:30. I'm like, oh, I got about an hour to kill before I even think about. I didn't want to start at 6:30. Next thing I know, I'm passed out in my chair.
So it goes.
Yeah.
Oh man, your hair is flowing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Your mane is not its usual.
Yeah. I'm letting it down today.
Fair enough. I certainly can't be one to judge about hair right now. All right. So, shall we?
Oh, there we go. We have libations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Recorder's recording. Yes.
All my stuff is rolling.
Flux capacitor's flexing.
Yep.
Let's do it.
In 3,
2, 1. Cut in.
Cut in.